as we used to call it on the street, the lowdown, the truth about my perspective on long distance relationships over the internet. And people, for some strange reason, believe they're compatible enough to get married over the internet before you meet someone. Are you serious? You would have to be, there has to be, in my opinion, there would have to be something integral wrong with your brain and the way it works. There are so many reasons, and I'm about to give a lot of those reasons out. But before I begin, I want to talk about what this topic has been on the internet for about 2 weeks or so. The insanity behind the concept itself is mind-boggling. But if that's what you want to hear about, I'll give you my best effort to tell you the truth. And as to how much money it's going to cost you and how you're going to get deceived a large percentage of the time, especially with the women in foreign countries that you have never met before. And I'll tell you about their culture as well. But mostly I will tell you about the Philippines culture, because it's different than the American culture. And there's no possible way for you to ever confirm anything that a woman says to you online. And in regards to asking for some sort of supposed investigator, then you're not going to get an honest estimation as to who you're inquiring about. They may not even do anything other than look up the woman's name and make up a story for her in her favor, especially in the Philippines, because that's just the culture here. You're never, ever, as a foreigner, you're never, ever going to get a resident of the Philippines, born and raised, you're never going to get them to say a bad word about another Filipino or Filipina. You can believe what you want, but that's not going to happen. And that means even when you hire a private investigator. I could give you example after example, but I'll just tell you straight up and down that, okay, I'll give you an example from yesterday morning. I won't even go back a week or two, but I'll give you 2 examples from this week. Okay, the first one is that Rusi Chariot, the salesperson, after I went through the list of 25 items, and I wasn't done, as to what was wrong with the secondhand Chariot, she was still all in with me spending as much as 85 or 90,000 pesos for a rusted out, broken frame, leaking motor, no muffler, no starter, no alternator, no lights, no brake in the front, no brake cable, no parking brake, no needed an oil change. The reverse transmission was sloppy, probably needed to be replaced. So she wanted me to pay 35,000 for it. For this thing is a piece of junk. This thing is a piece of junk. Do you understand junk? It must have been used in the Doggett, in the ocean, and it just completely, the frame was completely missing in places. And yet, because I was a foreigner, she was willing to have me spend 35,000 pesos and then somehow haul that piece of garbage to her shop so they could give me an estimate to fix it, which would be in the 50,000 peso range, 85,000 pesos, because if I bought it from another Filipino, he would benefit, even though no one in their right mind would buy it. They were willing to have me lose 85,000 pesos when, in fact, for a brand new one, brand new, right out of the showroom with 1 year's insurance. I could buy it for 104,000 pesos. But they were more than willing to let me make the mistake of buying it. And it would benefit them because they would sell me for $800 in parts, and it would benefit the other Filipino because he's getting 35,000 pesos for literally something that should just be junked. Even the motor was blown. There's nothing useful on the Chariot except maybe the windshield, if it fits the newer Chariots, and a couple of baloney skin tires, or at least several-year-old tires that I would not trust a real load on. So that's one. And the second one was yesterday, just yesterday. I had another experience similar to that. It happens every day here. I was at the doctor's at the hospital, and this Filipinos will never ever go against another Filipino. Now I'm going to tell you a story about a complete and utter stranger at the hospital, and what my conversation with him was, and how the hospital staff treated me after I brought them snacks for the whole hospital several times. Not yesterday, but several times prior to yesterday. I will bring 50 or 60 bread, pan, sweet rolls, and an assortment. After they know exactly who I am when I walk into the hospital, they love me because I bring them snacks. This is what the Filipinos did to me yesterday at the hospital. And these are supposed to be professionals. Okay, so here's what happened. I have the wrap on my leg because I still have wounds. And Filipinos just they love it. You could be on the jeepney, you might get 3 or 4 people say, what happened to your leg? They want to know stuff that's really none of their business, but it's not important to their life at all. They just really want to talk to you. That's okay. So I'm online, and they call me up to sit in the chair. This is my point. My point is that Filipinos will never go against another Filipina or Filipino. So you think you're going to come here and get the truth about a person's background, how they had kids, who gave them the kids, what they did for the kids? You're not. So here's what happened. This is just another example of how Filipinos don't care about foreigners in general. Okay, so I sit down, and there's a nurse next to me. She says to me, "Sir, what happened to your leg?" Now, I've explained this already probably 4 or 5 times today to Filipinos. It gets old after a while that you have complete strangers walking up to you and say, what's wrong with your leg? Why do they care, number one? They don't. They just want to talk. So I said, I have an infection. How long have you had it? This is a nurse, right? So she works there. So I said, well, since January, since December. What are you doing for it? I said, wait a second, hold on, time out. Are you going to take care of my nursing issues today? No, sir. I said, well then, can we not talk about this? Yes, sir. There's a guy behind her. He doesn't work at the hospital. He's not part of the staff. I don't know him. I never saw him before. He's on the 3rd chair over. I'm first, nurse is second, guy's on the 3rd chair. And he says to me, "Sir, what's wrong with your leg?" After he hears me tell the nurse, I don't want to talk about it. Because I got to explain it to the nurse who's taking down the information from my chart. I have to discuss it with the doctor, but I don't have to discuss it with strangers. I'm not like that. So I said to him, "Sir, do you work here?" Just like that, "Sir, do you?" "No." I said, Are you a doctor?" "No." I said, "Well, why would you believe I should answer your questions? Because in real life, I have a pretty good understanding of people. I don't think he has a right to ask me what he just heard. The whole thing, he was doing it to break my chops, which is okay to some degree. But I said, "Sir, why do you think I should have to answer your questions?" And you know what his response was? "Sir, you have to obey the laws of the Philippines." You know what my response was? I said, "Well, there's a police officer right there." There was one sitting in a van. I said, "Why don't you go get that police officer and bring him over here and explain to him what law I broke, because I'm not answering a complete stranger's questions about my leg." So they say anything. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Why did I break the law? Because I'm not answering a complete stranger's questions about my leg after I just explained it to a Filipino nurse that unless she's going to be the one taking down the information, I don't really feel like talking about it. Now, I could tell you also that 25 times I've been asked this week what happened to my leg. It gets old. It gets old. And they don't care. At the end of the day, they can't help. They just want to talk to you. Okay, that I understand. So now, you think you're going to come to this country after nobody knows who you are? And these people know exactly who I am. Not just because they work in the hospital and not because I give them snacks, but because I've been giving people foods, snacks, candies, and God knows, clothes, alcohol, cigarettes to the adults, and alcohol to the adults on fiestas for 7.5 years. This is the community I live in. Everybody knows who I am. But a complete stranger? No. And they still did this to me. So what did they do to me? You want to know. You want to ask, what did they do to me? I'll tell you what they did to me. That guy who didn't know me, and I don't know what his relationship was to the people at the nurse's station. Well, here's what I do when I get there. There was 17 people sitting in chairs in front of the hospital. So I counted 17 people, or 17 groups of people and for families. So I know roughly there's going to be 17 people ahead of me. So I know how much time I have. I disappear, I go down the block. I was looking for something down the block. So this is the culture. You better get used to it. You're never going to come out on top in the Philippines. Never. They're never going to tell you the truth, and you're never going to get a straight answer from them. But here's in regards to what the past was about some woman you want to marry online. You're out of your mind to even think you're going to get the truth. But anyway, I disappeared down the block, and I had a visual on how many people were there and the new people that came in after I left or as I was leaving. So I know there's 17 people ahead of me. So an hour passes and already 19 people went ahead of me. And now somebody that came in after me with a green shirt on, a woman that sat down next to me, I know she came in after me because she filled out paperwork and then sat down next to me after me. She was called. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. They're calling people out of order. They're letting other people go ahead of me. I said, nah, they wouldn't do that. So it happened like 2 more times. So that guy who got upset that I wouldn't answer his questions, who was nobody, told the nurse to make him wait. And what they kept doing was they kept taking my paper and putting it underneath the next one. So, in other words, 4 people that came in after me were put in ahead of me, and there was only one doctor, so it couldn't be going in different directions. That should be noted there. There's only one doctor. So they put 4 people ahead of me because I told a stranger that I don't want him asking me questions. So they punished me. So when I got up there, I nonchalantly looked at the papers when I weighed myself on the scale, and that's what they were doing. They were slipping the next person on top of me. So they slipped the page on top of my paper because I know my handwriting, and then the scale is about 3 feet away from the nurse's station. And I walked over to the nurse, and I said, "Ma'am, there are 4 people, 3 people. The fourth person was the guy on the top. There were 3 people that came in after me, and they went before me. Now I have other things I'd like to do during the course of today. So when is it my turn? Sir, you're next." Without looking at the paper on the bottom. She knew what she was doing. So because I somehow didn't answer a stranger's question about my personal life, he said to punish me, and they did. Okay, it's a small, insignificant thing. However, maybe next time I'll go, maybe I'll buy snacks, and maybe I won't. That's not the point. The point is, as a foreigner in the Philippines, you're never going to get the same respect you'd get in the United States. You just got to live with that. Now, I did see the doctor. The wounds are healing. They gave me a new medicine called Fluxloxcilia, and it's kind of penicillin. But moving past that, you people, let's get back to the long distance relationship nonsense, okay? I was online back in 2009. That's when I did my marriage counseling videos, where I did a whole series of marriage counseling videos. They're probably not on public display anymore because I went really in deep with them. And most of them were because of the women I met online in the Philippines. You can never get a straight answer from them. This goes back 11 years ago. So here's what you get. I dated a woman here. I was here. I moved into the Stanley house next door to where I live now. I met a girl at the ICM mall. I dated her for eight months. Now, when I met her, I told her, if you have children, I really don't want to date you. No, sir. I don't have children. That was how she said it. She actually worked as a floor sweeper, cleaner up, scraped the bubble gum off the floor and marks and mop down the floor. She was a sweet girl. I said, "Okay, can you swim?" She said, "Yes." So we used to go swimming together. There's many videos of her and I swimming together. So I dated her from probably when I moved into the Stanley house sometime in, I guess it was April of 2015. And then Christmas came. Now, I asked her if she had kids. She didn't have any kids. It was a wonderful thing. I even really liked her a lot, maybe to have children with her. So Christmas came and she said, "Michael, by the way, can you give me 20,000 pesos? I said, "For what reason?" "Well, I want to buy each of my children a cell phone." I said, "Well, wait a second. You said you didn't have any children." "Yes, I don't. But they live with my mother." So this is after 8 months of dating. She told me she had children, but she didn't have children because they lived with her mother. It took 8 months for her to tell me the truth? Really? Now, that was one person that did that. Then I went to Cebu, and you see me at the Estaca Bay Hotel with a woman that didn't have any children. That's why I went there to visit her, because I wanted to meet a young lady without children that wants to have children. And after the next day, after I met her for dinner, she took me to her house, and there's videos of that up. And when she introduced me to her family. A little 2-year-old girl came over and she said, "Oh, by the way, Michael, this is my daughter." And I said, but I said, you said you didn't have any children. No, I don't. They live with my mother. I'm in the house now. I said, well, where do they live? She said, well, my mother and father and my baby live in that room, and I live in that room over there. That's a straight answer? She was serious, too, because they didn't live with her in her room, the baby. She didn't have any children. This is what you get here in the Philippines. Now, I continued on with my date. I gave the parents the presents. I bought them big, huge shells I had found on the beach. The father liked to polish shells, and he made beautiful artwork out of shells, polishing the inside of them. And I had clam shells about that big to about that big, many, and I gave him a whole box of that stuff. So that was 2, right? So then I go out to Anda, and I meet another girl who said she didn't have any children. And again, she had 2 children that lived in that room with her parents, and she lives in that room over there. So because the children lived in the room with the parents, she didn't have children. That's 3 people that will tell you that stuff. Online, they tell you this. And you want to come from another country? Now, you think they're going to get a straight answer about a woman's background, how she had those children, who gave those children to her? Was it a boyfriend, a one-night fling? Did she get drunk and not know who gave her the baby? You're never going to find out those details. You're not going to find those details out. Whatever story they have created for how they got their children, that's what everyone is going to stick to. Her family, her friends, her sister, her brothers, and her children. Now, moving on to the more important things, you want to talk to a woman online. You know nothing about her, but let's just say she has a child. For each child, as long as you're prepared to shell out somewhere between 10 and 20,000 pesos a month, between $200 and $400 a month, that's what it costs to raise a child. If it's not your child and you have enough money to do that, well, then God bless you, and God bless the child. But that's one thing that you should understand. Now, it might not be online, you're not given that much, but when you get here, that's what it's going to start costing you. The child has to go to school. They have a strict dress code here for children as well as teenagers in school. They have to wear uniforms. They have to wear shoes. They have to wear socks. They need pencils. They need pens. They need notebooks. They need tablets. They need a lot of stuff. They have doctor bills. They have to get shots. You're going to spend up to $400 a month on every child that the woman has, if they're small children, as they grow up. If you have the money, again, God bless you. But moving on to the real more important things. What is the woman like in real life that you could possibly make a decision to marry a stranger? I'm going to check my comments. I forgot to do that. I get so enthralled in this topic because I think you'd have to be stone stupid to get married to a woman you don't know about who she is. I mean, stone stupid, and you don't know anything about them. So let's go. Let me mute this. Hold on a minute. Let me mute this. Hold on a minute. Let me mute this. Hold on a minute. Let me mute. Let me mute.
I think that our credibility with allies and partners
we had a little
around the
feedback
world.
there. A little feedback. Okay, so let's get. Wow, we had trouble getting to that video. Let's try it again. Okay, I was pushing the wrong button. I pushed the forward button. Okay, Cherry Hunter in the Philippines, get off my channel. You know damn well I'm not married. and you're a troll. Get off my channel. Do it before I shit can you. So, okay, so let's talk about the really, really important things, okay? Does the woman like to hug? Like to hug? Does she like to hug? Does she like to kiss? Does she even enjoy making love at all to anyone at any time? That's a big question, and it's a serious question, because some of these women have been so abused by foreigners that they're immune to really emotional responses. That's why if you're going to come to the Philippines to meet a woman, you should marry a younger, or at least meet a younger woman before they've been jaded to some unknown degree. I mean, and to date a woman with 2 or 3 or 4 children that they will never tell you who the father is. And that's another thing. You think that you have no understanding of the Philippines family life. Family comes first, foreigner. It will always come first. It's their culture. And just like the United States couldn't change the culture in Afghanistan to westernize it, you're not going to change the Philippines culture. Their family blood is way more important than you. And the children, if they're not your children, you will have no say whatsoever other than paying their bills as to how to really raise them. You can bet on that, because you don't even know the culture. The culture here is so different than America, it's amazing. You might have some small say, but that's because you're paying the bills. But you're not going to ever change the culture of the Philippines. You will never have the family go against the girl for you. It'll never happen. Hold on a minute. I don't really care about that. So you're never going to change the culture. It's just not going to happen. You can think what you want, but it's not going to happen. So let's go a step further. Where did the children come from? Where? They'll tell you maybe it's one man, and maybe it's 2 or 3 men. Okay? Now you have to deal. You can never reprimand the children. Forget that. They don't have reprimanding in the Philippines like we grew up with in America. I have no idea. But you're never going to smack a kid here in the Philippines. That just ain't never going to happen. They don't smack their own children. I've been here for 7.5 years. And one time I saw one man give his son the lightest of smacks on the buttocks. Oh, that kid cried for an hour. It just doesn't happen here. So you're not gonna tell them what to do, and you're not gonna reprimand them, and you're certainly not gonna smack them if you think that that's gonna help, like that you grew up like that. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I did not, but I'm just telling you that you're not gonna have any kind of corporal punishment against children here. There's not going to be any smacking. Even you raise your voice in the Philippines to a child, you're the bad guy. So you won't have any real say over the children that exist already. Now, if you meet a young girl and she's not living too close to her immediate family, you might have a little bit more control over your children. But other than that, the family is going to raise the child, and you'll always be an outsider here. It's just not going to happen. But digressing, does she like to kiss? Does she like to hug? Does she enjoy consensual relationships? Does she do certain things that you may or may not like? They can say anything over the internet, but in real life, Is it true? You people are, and then they make up entire histories for themselves. Another girl I met who did not have children, I don't know what to tell you. I dated her for a long time. Now, the girl with, none of the girls that I mentioned prior till right now had been married. None of them. But another girl I dated who didn't have children was married. I could have went to jail for that. And it's almost impossible for you to know if they don't tell you, unless you do some sort of a research on them, if they're married. But they'll tell you online, no, they're not married. What does that mean, no, I'm not married? Well, to the girl that I was with, she said, no, I'm not married. Because she was separated and her husband lived on a different island. I'll tell you the Philippines law, you could believe it or not, if you are dating a married woman and the woman who's married and her husband both agree that it's okay for you to date her, well, there's no problem. But here is the truth. If the husband gets a bone up his nose and he decides that he's not happy with you dating his wife, even though he lives on another island and has children with another woman, Filipino woman, he can file a case against you and you go straight to jail. And here's how that works, you morons. First of all, okay, so first you go to jail, and then bail is not set at any rated amount. It's what you can afford to pay to get out of jail so that the husband will drop the charges. That's fixed. Okay, it's just the way it is. So if the husband decides that you can't be with his ex-wife, that's right. I'll get to that. Thank you, Saban. I'll get to that in a minute. That's true. If he files a case against you, he will also, of course, file a case against his wife, who can get in serious trouble as well for adultery. But then again, if he's living on another island with another woman, his wife can file a counterclaim against the Filipino and her husband. It'll go nowhere, but they can do that. But you, as a foreigner, are in jail, and you have to pay whatever the husband agrees is a reasonable amount of money for insulting his name or his person, whatever that is, whatever that means. Okay? And I dated a woman who was married. Now, I never did have any interaction with her husband, and I don't even know if he ever knew about it, but we have videos on YouTube together, but not living at my house. They were all outside videos. But that woman, she didn't tell me she was married. And I asked her if she was married, and she said no, and it meant that no, her husband lives someplace else. So you can get into some serious trouble if you can't do research. So now you have to hire a lawyer and get her real name and look to see if she's married. And then if she is married and you morons fall in love with her, now you need $5,000 or $10,000 to get an annulment. And here's the law. The law is you just can't have a woman get divorced for some frivolous reason that she doesn't get along with her husband anymore. And the husband has to agree to it, and the woman has to agree. They both have to agree to an annulment, and there's no divorce. It's annulment. It's $10,000 of your time and money by the end of the day. Now, here's the law. The law is you file for an annulment. Now you have to come up with one of several legal reasons why there should be an annulment. The husband is in jail for a period of more than 6 months. So if the husband's in jail for a month, that doesn't count. The husband has committed some sort of sexual abuse. The husband has committed some sort of felony. The husband has committed adultery. Now you have to prove this in a court of law. You have lots and lots of legal fees to go through. $10,000 or thereabouts. If one of them contests it, it ain't ever even going to happen. If the husband contests it. Why would you want to come to the Philippines or any other country and meet a woman that you know nothing about? Now get on to the subject of online marriage. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? Are you insane? Online marriage. Thank you, Dennis, Adam. Are you insane? An online marriage? Do you have you have no clue about all of the above, and now you're thinking about getting an online marriage? I'm going to tell you something, okay? The show isn't rated R, and we're not going to have anything rated R on there. But let's say you enjoy a certain type of copulation, and she doesn't, ever, and she's never gonna. Then what are you gonna do? Then what are you gonna do? You get married online. You don't know these things. Let's say she says, I'm never going to ask you for money for my family. And then you get married and she asks you for money for her family. They can change their mind, yeah? Their family might need money. Maybe they didn't need money when you met her, but they need money now. It sounds a little harsh, but before you meet them, or when you meet them in real life, you have to have some sort of an agreement as to where your boundaries are and how much money you're going to give the family. Because this you better understand. If you're in the Philippines dating a Filipina and she has family, you are now a method of support for the family. It could be a small amount or a large amount, but you are going to contribute to the family's well-being. And that means sisters, brothers, cousins, mother, father. Even if the father, let's say the father has an alcohol problem and he overdoses on alcohol and has to go to the hospital twice a year, that's your responsibility. That's an emergency. Let's say the sister has a toothache. That's your responsibility. My sister has a toothache and she needs money to go to the dentist. That's your responsibility. Do you understand any of this stuff? Unless you have a large unlimited fund backing you up. I mean, if you had $2,000 or $3,000 a month coming in from a pension, you could probably afford all of this stuff. But what about the house? Do you know anything about the Philippines laws about the house, about getting married and building a house? No, you probably don't. So you get married, you don't get married, and you build a house. It's her house, period. She's in the house. You're in the house, you're not married, and she says to you after 5 years, you have to move out. You have to move out. It's her house. It's her house. Whatever money you invested into it is gone. Now, let's say you get married and you build a house and you have children, okay? And she dies. God forbid. The child now owns the house. Now, if there's no children, then that's how you can own a piece of property in the Philippines. If you got married to a woman and you built a house and you had a terrible car accident and she died and you lived, I think the law says you would own the house. That's what I think, what I remember reading. But there's so many rules here that are different here but getting married online is not an option. There's 100 stories out there. I know only of 2 that somebody wanted to get married online. Neither one of them did. But me, I never wanted to get married on. They want you right away. They love you. How easy is it for a woman to have 4 or 5 different guys strung along on the internet? How easy is that? And on different websites, so you'd never know the difference. You people that going to think that you're going to get. Now, I will tell you a story about a woman I do know for a fact is not, in my opinion, marriage material. I have a friend of mine that dated her. Holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. The stories that he told me about with this woman that he was dating, nonchalantly dating, they sound like regular guy stories, not a problem. But then her online presence is completely different demeanor than her persona in real life. This happens all the time. We are talking about things that I can't even mention because it's not an X-rated, R-rated show. But the things that are in the background from years ago, and this went on for years with this friend of mine, and now she's a goody two shoes, and her online presence is completely different than her personal life. Now, how do I know it? Because I'm friends with one of her ex-boyfriends, and you're not going to get a straight answer from any story they made up is what their family's going to stick to. You people are so naive. So if you're willing to get married online and talking about getting married, you're out of your freaking mind, in my opinion. You're insane. You need to have your head examined. This isn't like an issue that should be open for options. It should be something that's totally illegal. Well, why are they even making it legal? You know why they're making online marriages legal, you morons? Because there's going to be a lawyer involved at some point in the future with divorces. And the lawyers control the laws. And the judges get more time on the bench, and the lawyers get more time lawyering. You people are stone stupid. This is a ploy to have more court cases about stuff that's really not that important in real life, but they make a lot of money. You know that I had hired a lawyer in Florida for a boundary dispute that eventually I won. His fee to arbitrate a husband and wife during a divorce settlement was somewhere at the time in 2001, somewhere in the range from $3,000 to $5,000 for the day to sit in a room with the husband and the wife and a psychologist and try to work things out between them. That's why they're doing online marriages. This is about money. This isn't about love. They know every lawyer in the world knows that 99% of these online marriages isn't going to work. They don't care. You're going to have to hire a lawyer to get out of your online marriage. Your people, I can't believe this. I can't. And you got people on here that believe this is long distance relationships and marriage. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Have you lost your mind? Really? I'm not kidding. Let me read the comments. More than stupid, it's insane, but please do it and then commit suicide. I like that comment, but I don't know that YouTube has got new rules, so I'm not going to show it. But EJ Boy wrote it's more than stupid, it's insane. But please do it and then commit suicide. You already committed suicide. Wait a second. We're talking. Thank you, EJ. We're talking $10,000 for an annulment here in the Philippines. What about your time, you moron? What about your time that you're going to have to go back and forth to the court system and file fees and whatever else there is. Now, Sabang said something. Oh, I think it's, I don't know, Sabang, you can clarify. Does it mean that if the woman dies, that you'll have to sell the house in a reasonable period of time? You won't be able to keep it on top of everything else. To add insult to injury, your invested money, you won't even be able to live in your own house. The Philippines has some crazy laws, man. They are off the chain. They're not reasonable for a Westerner. So Sabang is going to reply to that, I hope. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. So, flywoods. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. So, online marriage ceremonies are legal, but all Philippines requirements have to be met, including joint counseling. There are no exceptions in Philippines marriage laws now validating online marriage. Well, I didn't know that. Thank you for clearing that up. But I do know that in America, you can get married online. And maybe that's what I was referring to. Because, and I do get stuff confused, but Flywood's just cleared that up. Thank you, Frank. In America, you can get married to a Filipino online from another state that you've never met. That I'm pretty sure can happen. And Sabang confirms that a foreigner cannot own property in the Philippines. So if you got married, Sabang is saying, and you built the house and your wife died, you'd still have to sell the house. I didn't know that. Thank you. And EJ Boy rewrote his comment. Look, if you're foolish enough to do it, then don't cry me Argentina. The Taliban loves everybody. Finally, we agree on something. Dennis Adams, thank you, Taliban. Well, yeah, usually you come in as the opposition. Okay, Dennis, foreigners are prohibited from owning land in the Philippines, but can legally own a residence. That's right. That's right. So they can't own the land, but they can own the house that's on the land. So if you had a lease like I have, I can build a hotel on the land I lease. I can own the hotel, but I can't own the land. That is true. And that's why you people keep criticizing, not you people, but these fools on YouTube. They can't get it through their head that I can build a hotel. I just can't own the land. And then at the end of my 20-year lease, I'll be 80-something years old. I won't care. Give the property and the hotel back to the owner of the property. What do I care when I'm 80 years old? If in the meantime I get married and have children, which probably I would have children before I got married, if that happened, well then maybe we could work out a deal at some point in the future to where I could keep a small apartment on the property and die here. Or I would have enough money from once the hotel is built to go live someplace else. I don't worry about something 20 years, 16 years in the future now. I don't worry about that. I'm not a kind of guy that worries about anything anyway. But I do know that I can build a hotel legally. I have the permits to build a hotel legally. In fact, the building department, I'm waiting for a phone call from them. Not for permission for anything. My plans, one of my plans, I don't have the box here. One of my plans got wet and it fell apart. I want a new page 2 of my plans, and they're looking for that this week. Supposedly it'll happen this week. But my plans, so I can own the building until the lease is up, and then I have to give it back to the landlord. It's all agreed. There's not an argument where I have the option to buy the property or renew the lease. I don't give a shit about what's going to happen 16 years from now. Anyway, thanks for clearing that up, Dennis. I think it's a good public service, my live stream. Thank you, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, this is my experience here in the Philippines, 7.5 years. I don't make any of this stuff up. Do I get excited about this? Hell yeah. I'm an American. I grew up with a whole different set of moral turpitude. When we were children, we dated women that we knew since birth. Most of my friends married a girl from the neighborhood, or at least somebody they would learn about. We had social interactions in America. You don't have that here. In America, I'm Italian, okay, from Howard Beach, Queens. Okay, so you meet a girl that's from Bay Ridge. She's Irish. You still speak English, and you go to their St. Patrick's Day parties or their Christmas bonanzas, and they go to yours, and everybody still speaks English, where you can get a feel for the background of the girl. Everybody at the party you can talk to. Everybody, they have a commonality of English. You could look up the girl's public records, high school records, college records, police records. You can't do that here. And on top of that, if you come here, you look at my last 10 videos. Look for a foreigner in the Philippines besides myself and one other friend of mine in a video I haven't posted yet called ICM Supermarket, the prices. But for the most part, there are very few foreigners here. And when you go to the Filipinos family, typically in the province, not one of them speaks a word of English. You can't get anyone to speak English to you because they don't speak English. So you can't ask them questions. And if they knew the answer to the question in English, they would always say what's best for the woman. It's not like America. You're not going to get some cousin or uncle or niece or nephew or aunt or even the girl's mother that says, oh, whoa. This is not the woman you want to be with, Michael. I've had that happen to me. I dated a woman named Patty. She was, what a sweetheart. Oh, my God. Now, I met Patty. Well, I was the family's paperboy when I was 12, 13, and 14. And Patty might have been about 7 or 6 years old. So I was probably 7 years older than Patty. And we were, and because I was the family's paperboy for 3 years, I knew the family. They were one of my better customers. They gave me $5 on Christmas back in 1970 and 71. 72, that's a lot of money for a Christmas tip. I remember them, but then later on, the father and I and the mother became friends. We all collected antiques together. And Patty eventually turned 18, and I started dating her. In fact, I was her first boyfriend. And then, for some unbeknownst reason, not because of me, Patty went off the chain, crazy, hanging out with biker groups and motorcycle gangs. She didn't get a tattoo, though. She went nuts. And I got a good idea why that happened. But let me just tell you the story. Okay, so she went, when I dated her, she was the most rational, normal young lady you ever met. And she found out she had that Parkinson's disease and that she was going to succumb to that eventually. She went nuts. Okay, and she started doing the most bizarre stuff. She broke up with me after knowing her for 12, 13 years, and she started hanging out with every biker group in Brooklyn and Queens. And she was passed around like a rag doll. And I had no idea what was going on, none whatsoever. But eventually, after about 6 or 7 months, she came back into my life. I knew nothing about this, and her mother came by my house, on 95th Street, and said, "Michael, we have to talk." And I said, "Okay." And the mother laid it all out for me. That, Patty is not the girl you grew up with, and she's not the girl I know as my daughter. She's, after what happened with the Parkinson's disease, she's not the same person. You don't want to be with her anymore. And I never dated her again. And that was it. But at least in America, they have some moral turpitude. Here, you can't have that because first, they don't speak English. And second, they're not gonna degrade their daughter even to the slightest, smallest iota. As long as you are the new, partial support for the family. And this is the culture here. This is the way it is. It's not something I'm making up. It's something you need to understand. I heard the slob. And then I want to talk about something else, not just generally the slob. What are any of you people out there doing except talking on the internet like I'm doing now? What is anybody doing except blah, blah, blah? None of you are doing anything. Only the slob is doing something, and he's the biggest degenerate on the internet as far as I'm concerned. But he said, "Oh yeah, Fazio spent his birthday alone." And that other piece of garbage, Big Kev, yeah, alone. And he chimed in. He had to do that. He had to degrade me a little bit. Big Kevin, you got nothing to say about me on the internet. You do nothing with your life, Kevin. You only talk on your channel. You don't do anything with your life. You haven't done anything with your life in years. At least I do stuff. How many hundreds of videos do I have of Bahal and the people and the stores? You have never went out. You don't have a single blog about the Philippines anywhere that's of interest to anybody. So you talking about me, that's hilarious. And the slob saying I don't have a date for my birthday. Well, I could have. I could have had a date for my birthday, but I didn't meet anybody I wanted to be with. And I don't need to be with somebody I don't like enough to be with them. And I interview a lot of women on a daily basis when I go to the city. I ask them 3 or 4 pertinent questions. Number one, can they swim? I don't care about anything else if they say they can't swim. I'm not interested in it if they can't swim. So when the slob says I was alone on my birthday, that was my choice. And the girls that I was going to celebrate or am going to celebrate my birthday with, they'll be here next week. But that's not the point. I pick and choose who I want to be with. I don't waste my days dating some girl so I could have sex with some stranger. My name isn't the slob. But on the flip side of the slob saying I spent my birthday alone, it's because I interview the girls and I'm looking for a certain type of woman. I'm not looking for a street walker. I'm not looking for a paid date. I'm looking for a decent girl. If I find one, I find one. If I don't, I don't. It's not complicated for me. But on the other hand, the slob has never met a decent woman. His total interaction between hello and we're going to bed with each other is 30 seconds. Do you have a line? Yes, I have a line. Good, I'll give you 3,000 pesos. You come home with me tonight. The girl walks over to him, puts her arm around him, and they're lovers for the evening. Is that really important? And people love that. It's good. It's good. Makes good showmanship. But you're also dealing with a degenerate. So if you like that and you have degenerate fantasies about sleeping with prostitutes, my God, there's something wrong with you as well. You could meet decent girls here, but if they're married, you don't want to date them. If they have children, I don't want to date them. And if they can't swim, I don't want to date them. So when I meet someone that's not married, single, hopefully with a decent education, and that there's no lies involved. I don't want to ask a girl something today and get a different answer a month from now. I'm not like that. I'm the kind of guy that would end my friendship with you of 20 years because you lied to me about one stupid, insignificant thing. Because it was a stupid, insignificant thing. I had a guy work for me. Well, this isn't about me, but I don't put up with lies. And if I choose to be single, if I had a girl on my birthday, I would have never been able to find out about how dishonest the salespeople for the Chariot were, and not dishonest about what they were selling, but how they would let me screw myself by buying some piece of junk. I learned a valuable lesson. Now I'm not even going to buy a Russi Chariot. Not from them, not from that guy, for sure, that piece of junk, but I wouldn't have got to do that. And then I would have had to spend a day with a girl I don't want to be with. Where I need a date, I need to have a girl sitting in front of me to have my lunch or my dinner. I don't need that. I'm not embarrassed to be alone. I don't even care about that. If I told you about my background, you wouldn't believe it. And if you did believe it, you'd say, wow, that's why he's like that. But you'll never hear about my background, ever. You're not going to hear, because I don't talk about my background, and my friends don't talk about my background to strangers. So you'll never hear about me in real life. Besides that, Michael Fazio is the hardest worker anybody ever met. That's about all you'll hear about me. So let's go back to the comments. The only real man that has talked the talk and walked the walk. Thank you, EJ boy. Relevant 20. They're still crucifying each other for kicks and giggles. Yeah, that's just insanity, man. And Paul Sanyetti, hello, Paul. I spent time with Michael on his birthday. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Paul. So you have no understanding of the culture here, and I'll just digress back to when you come here. I'm up in the air about meeting a city girl as opposed to a province girl. I think there's great girls in both cultures, city and province, but they're two different things. But if you meet a girl from the province that speaks a little, that's another thing about English. You could have, I'm not going to mention names, but you can have a perfectly intelligent conversation chat with a Filipina. They understand the words. As long as you only give them one topic at a time. You can't ask the majority of the Philippines people two questions in the same sentence. Can't do it. You can't say, good morning, how are you today? That's two questions. And what are you doing at 2 o'clock this afternoon? Can we have lunch? That's 4. You can't do that. You can say good morning, they'll say good morning. How are you? I'm fine. What are you doing at 2 o'clock? Nothing. Can we have lunch at 2 o'clock? That's 8 comments back and forth. Because if you put it all in one sentence, all you're going to get is back is I'm fine. It's a different, they don't have the same comprehension of English as we have. I could give you example after example. I have a video coming out. It's an 18-minute video about my experience in the supermarket yesterday. Now, it wasn't bad. I was going through some of the prices. I was waiting for Igor. Okay, this is their culture. When I worked at a store business, I knew everybody's name. Sit down and chit chat with everybody. I knew everybody in the whole, but I would certainly know the boss's name or the bigger uppers and their names. So I went into the supermarket yesterday on an odd day, and this is the culture. Get used to this. So normally there's one woman security guard to make sure no one puts meat in their purse or their bag. Okay? They know I'm not going to take anything, but they still look. They stand there and like a hawk. That's their job, to make sure no one's stealing, a kilo or half a kilo of meat. The normal girl that stands outside the meat counter like a Centurion warrior, the ones on Battlestar Galactica where the eye goes like this, she wasn't there. But when she is there, she walks over to me and says, "Sir Michael," it's in the video. I even posted it. I didn't post the video yet. "Sir Michael, how many kilos would you like?" They know me, but I guess Wednesday is their day off. I don't know. Whatever day yesterday was. I think it was Wednesday. So the girl says, "Michael, how many kilos will you like?" This is the guard with the guard uniform on, the security guard. She goes, "Okay, I'll tell Igor." And she walks in the back, and Igor pushes out a cart with 10 or 15 kilos of meat on it, and I'll choose 2 or 3 packages, 4 packages of meat. If I'm getting a tricycle, I'll choose 4, 12 pounds. If I'm not getting a tricycle, I'll choose 2 or 3, 10 pounds or 9 pounds. Okay? But so yesterday, this is what I'm trying to tell you about the culture. They don't speak English. So the guard, I look at the guard, I know it's not the guard. I look at the woman behind the meat counter that throws the meat in the bins. It's not the normal girl. Nobody knows me. So I said to the other girl, "Please go get Igor." Now, that's his name. Igor is Igor in Versailles or English. Well, it took about 7 people. The butcher, the man who chops the meat. Sign language didn't work. Chopping the meat, chopping the pork, the butcher. I don't know what the word butcher is. Now I do. In Versailles, it's Teb, T-E-B. Teb. I should have said Teb, because I asked, when the butcher came out, it was a different butcher. Igor was off also. I said, "How do you say butcher in Versailles?" Teb. Spell it. Teb. Okay, now I know Teb. But before that, nobody behind the counter knew what the word butcher meant. And yet he's the butcher. Without the butcher, you're not going to get, and he's throwing out 2 tons of meat a day or more. So he came out and said, "Sir Michael." So apparently someone told him my name, because I never saw him before. I said, "It's in the video. You're not Igor." "No, sir." I said, "Okay, I need 2 Doha packages, 3 or 4 kilos each." And that's what's in the video. That's what he brought me out a few minutes later. And then he told me how to say Teb, Teb. So, but no one in the whole store knew how to say the word butcher in Versailles. No, they knew how to say butcher in Versailles. They didn't understand that I wanted to know. They didn't know what the word butcher meant. What is the butcher? Where is the butcher? The man who cuts the meat, the man who cuts the pork. No. You could explain it to them 6 ways from Sunday and not get the results you want. Finally, someone sent somebody in there, and the other man came out, and I got the word teb out of him. Well, now I have no problem. All I got to do is go in and ask for the teb. But that took, you'll see my response. It's just not comprehensible that they don't understand butcher, the word butcher. The butcher is in charge of the whole meat. They've never heard the word butcher. And no one knew Igor. I don't know why. And in the supermarket, that's common for nobody to speak English. Sorry, sir, no English. Now, this is what they do know in English, and they all fool you. Let me go to the comments here. They all think this is funny, too. I don't understand it. No, sir. So, yeah, the two best words in the Philippines is hello, sir, and no, sir. Or out of stock. You forgot out of stock. So you ask any Filipino, 90, 85%, 70%, well, you ask them this question: do you understand English? And the answer is yes. They understood, do you understand English? They understood that sentence. So the yes is for that they understood the sentence, but other than that, they don't understand any English. Now, if you ask them, kasabut English? No, they'll tell you yes or no. Kasabut means, do you understand English in Visaya? And then they'll know what you're asking them. But if you say, do you understand English? They'll say yes, they understood that sentence. It's a whole different world here. Getting answers from people, watch my video when I post it. It's like, oh my God, it's, no one knows Igor. He's the butcher, he's the king, he's the man who cuts up 2 tons of meat a day, and no one knows the name Igor because he was off. So no one knew the word butcher. No one in the store. No one. Finally, after you'll see me ask, someone figured out what the word butcher was. And then say, go get the butcher, teb. You could have no idea what you're in for when you get here. And then you think you're going to live here? You think you're going to live here? Let me tell you something. We'll go involved with you people thinking that you're going to get married to a girl online and then live in the province. I live in the province, okay? It's building itself up. And I picked the most wealthiest up-and-coming neighborhood in all of Bohol, by far. They've spent hundreds of millions of pesos within a half a mile of my house. Billions of pesos fixing up. What was a fishing village is now gone, unfortunately, because I liked it better. Now they have 10 billion, 20 billion peso hotels where there was once beautiful rustic fishing villages. Now it's just beaches and hotels and pools. I think it's disgusting. I moved here to be away from that kind of crap, and yet here I am. But moving on, I live in the province, okay? We have no water for 3 days now. 3 days. Nothing comes out of the faucet, not at night, not in the daytime. Now, I went to the water department last Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday, when I went to the hospital, the fire department, the municipality where I went to get my permit, to get another copy of my page 2 for my permit, then the water department and the tourist division and the post office, they're all in the same building. So I went to the water department and they said hello, and I said, can you check my records? So I have 1,000 pesos plus on my account, which will cover 60 cubic meters, which covers 30 months in advance. So I'm a year and a half out from owing money. So I know they didn't shut my water off. But now we've had no water for 3 days. So now you have to go ask my neighbor for water from their water tank. You think it's easy living here? Now, if you had a house here and you had your own water tank, well, then you could have water. But where I live in this little house that I live in, I've had no water for 3 days. Now, I bathe every day, twice a day, in the morning and at night. If in the morning, if I have to go to the doctor's or the city, and at night when I come home, but there's no water. And if you call them up, they say, yes, sir, we're working on that. Going back to EJ's comment, yes, sir. What does yes, sir mean? It means they heard you. And that's all it means. It means nothing. Yes, sir, we're working on it. What does that mean? Nothing. They don't know if there's a crew on it or not. They just say it. They don't want to hear any more complaints. They don't care. They've lived without water for 3 days, many times during the course of their life. So if they could live like that, you could live like that. Electric? Man. I had a blackout this morning when I woke up. I don't know how long the blackout was on. It was on. When I woke up at 5:30, and I didn't have electric till 6:30 in the morning, which means no internet and no phone. Okay? Now, when I got home from the city yesterday, I had two big 700 peso. I don't buy pork chopped up in pieces. I don't buy it like that. Number one, once they chop it up, they quick freeze it. Okay? Which is okay. The meat in ICM and BQ is perfectly sound, never got sick, never going to get sick from it, in my opinion. But I want to buy a 3 or 4 kilo piece so that I can chop up 4 pieces, put it in the lower part of my refrigerator, and cook it fresh before it's frozen. The rest I chop up and put in the freezer. You'll see in my video I bought 1,400 pesos plus of 2 pieces of meat. But I also save 10 pesos per kilo. But I also get a better cut of meat. For me, and when you buy in bulk, they trim off a little bit more fat, and I buy lean pork to begin with. So they go through the effort. If you're buying in bulk, to bring out a tray with 10, 20 kilos on it, you pick what you want, and there's a little more trimmed pork, and also it's 10 pesos less per kilo. So in fact, I bought 7.5 kilos, so I saved 75 pesos. But I got a leaner pork. So I saved another 75 pesos worth of fat. So I saved 150 pesos or $3. That paid for my tricycle ride home. I bought 10 more boxes. Remember those boxes that I had last week? I had, 18 of them? 18, 9 and 9. 18, I bought 10 more yesterday. I know you don't believe me because I'm broke, right? So I have them outside. And for my container, because I got to get back in the container. And I got to get that stuff in the container stored. I had 2 other things to do. I went to the doctor 3 times this week. No, I went to the doctor last Tuesday or Wednesday, and then yesterday. Then I went to the city last Tuesday and Wednesday to get medicine. And then I went to 8 stores to get my medicine yesterday. 8 stores didn't have Flux, Lux, Cilia. One had 7 pills, I took those. Another one had 7 pills, I took those. And then one had the full order, and I gave her and I took that full order. But that was they will only give you one full order. The other stores that I go to, they gave me the 7 pills they had. I said, well, look, I've already been to 4 stores. Just give me what you got so I could come back in 2 days. And they did. But they know me, okay? I've been going in these stores for 7.5 years. They know who I am. So when you come here, you're not going to get treated the same way I do. When you see me walking down the block in my Honeyman video, I walk down the block, people, oh my God, people tell me, Paul Signeri, Paul did spend time with me on my birthday. That was you at the pizza place. Hey, Paul, I didn't recognize, I'm pretty sure that was you. Yeah, I think I did meet a fella named Paul at a pizzeria. Yeah, that's funny. See, there's people I don't even know who they are on the internet that I see every day. But you're not going to get treated like I do. When you see me walking down the block, you're going to hear, "Hey, Fazio, hey, Rabbi, hey, Tambo, Kani Wang," from the jeepneys, the tricycle drivers. I walk, you saw what happens last week on my birthday, how many people said hello. And then you had some clown come on here and say, "Oh, yeah, they're only being friendly because they're waiting to bolo you to take your money." You piece of garbage. The tricycle drivers are the hardest working men, along with the hobble drivers and the jeepney drivers in the Philippines. They work harder than any construction worker. They risk their life and limb every day, plus their passengers' lives and limbs every day. These are not criminals that are driving these tricycles, you piece of garbage coming on my channel saying that they want to bolo me. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that you people say on the internet. In real life, people don't say that stuff to me in real life. Why? Well, when the slob gets here, you'll find out why. So when you think you're coming here and you're going to blend in with the culture like I do, when I walk down the street, I know some of the names of some of the people, but every guard in every building, in every supermarket, in every store, in every hardware store, every building supply knows me by name. They don't bother me. No one bothers me. But you are going to be an unknown to them. They're not going to be friendly to you. They'll say hello, but that's it. You're not going to get the same kind of service that I get. And it's going to take a long time for them to remember your face and that you're an okay guy, because for the most part, they're just going to think you're another abuser of women, because that's what most people come here for. They know I'm not, because they don't ever see me with a woman. Well, sometimes they do, but you don't. So that's the point. If I am with a woman, I may date a woman to have an enjoyable conversation with. I just don't put them on video. But that's besides the point. Again, you people are not coming to the Philippines, and you're not going to experience anything you understand about reality. And to believe that you're going to meet a woman online and she's telling you the truth, believe me when I tell you, I could name a name, you'd all know who I'm talking about, who has a salty past, let's say. And yet, either you would believe me or wouldn't believe me. But she's built up an entirely new persona around herself. It's an amazing thing. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And there's lots of people out there like that. For me, go look up my NCIC file. Oh, wait, you can't do that, right? Huh, why can't you do that? Or go look up my past associations. Oh, you can't do that either. Okay? But if you could, my name has to be in 100 strange places. As a carpenter, as the guy who built that house for so-and-so and such and such. Family, get-togethers, weddings, birthdays, 4th of July parties. Don't forget, they have dossiers on every single person in Howard Beach, especially when I grew up. But I don't have anything to do with that. I didn't build up a new persona, per se. I just am who I am. And I am a carpenter. I am a builder. I am a general contractor. But my name associates with a lot of other stuff. But I never got involved with that other crazy stuff. I know about it, but I don't have to build up a new persona. I was never really involved. But if you look at my associations, known associations, you could get some of that confused. And maybe there is some confusion in there, but you'll never know because there's nothing to connect me with certain things. So I don't have to build up a new persona, but I know people with some really salty pasts that have built up a whole new persona. And I find it absolutely amazing, this long-term relationship, long-distance relationship stuff. You people don't know who you're getting involved with. And that was the point of this video. So now I'll read the comments. And now I'm going to go outside and, oh, we have some trolls up. Let's see. View deleted message. Oh my God. Okay, thanks, Dennis. Yeah, EJ boy. Okay. EJ boy. Wait, whoa, Paul. I spent time with Michael on his birthday. EJ boy. Okay. The best two words in the Philippines are hello, sir, and no, sir, Paul Seniority. We had 3 plates of buffet, the last of the mushrooms on Michael's birthday. Wow. You slipped right in past me, Paul. EJ boy, in the Philippines. Well, anyway, thanks for sharing my birthday with me. I still don't know who Paul is, though. Now, I thought he was somebody else altogether. Unless he's talking about... You got me. So, EJ boy, in the Philippines, if you arrive to live there, I almost promise you that if you don't have patience, they will break you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They will. To have patience, you have no choice. It's like living in the Twilight Zone. How many times have I said those exact words? It's like living in another reality here. You'll see the frustration when I was trying to get the butcher the meat, chop, pork, cut, not bolo, the word for knife. I forget the word for knife. I couldn't remember it yesterday either. They didn't understand. Anyway, you have to understand you're not going to exist like you exist in America. You just go ask. And I'm going to tell you something else. I'll say it again. I said it before. You cannot speak to a Philippines person in full sentences unless they have a full-on education. The girls that I spent time on the beach with 2 weeks ago, they had full-on educations, all of them. In fact, they'll be coming home today from Mindanao. They were filing the paperwork for their master's degree in 2 different, at the same college. The 2 of them went together. The third girl went to her family. On my birthday, her father's birthday is September 25th. And that girl and I would have been together just as friends, but she had to go to her father. So when the slob says, he was alone, and Big Kevin, a man who hasn't done anything with his life in how many years, Kevin? And you're ridiculing me, man. You need to stop that shit, man. You don't want me to go all in on you like I did last time. I will, though. You really need to stop that shit. Making fun. You think that making fun of people, that you want to make fun of somebody and they deserve it. That's one thing. But to make fun of me, Kevin, no. You haven't done a damn thing with your life in 10 years. For whatever reason. You don't do anything with your life now for whatever reason. You don't blog about where you live or the stores where you live. You walk out in the backyard. You're not doing anything with your life. I do stuff with my life. I will, in fact, build a hotel. In fact, I'm waiting again now. I'm waiting a week for a phone call for my rebar bender that I have 1,000 phone calls now for a rebar bender, a rebar cutter, phone calls and emails, 1,000. And I still don't have one. You want to talk about patience? You think you could do 1,000 phone calls, pushing redials, sending emails? I was promised that rebar bender on the 25th, just as an arbitrary date. The rebar benders will be back in stock on the 25th of September. Where are they? When is the rebar bender coming in? Nothing. Did you get my email? Yes, sir, I'm busy. But no answer as to when they're coming in. When will the rebar benders come in? We'll let you know, sir. So I had to send out 5 emails to get a question that they still don't know. Because I didn't ask the question, just one question in the beginning. I didn't get a straight answer. That's patience. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. I don't think these people are trained to do the jobs that they have. But that's the way it is here. Yet, I have another example, but I don't really know if I should give you this other example. Oh, the girl at the bank. What about my debit card? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I went to the bank, right? The manager, I won't mention her name, but I am going to stand in front of that bank and ridicule the bank. As soon as I need time. I want the sun to be in the right place, and I want to have all my ducks in order. And first, I want to take out almost 1 million pesos from the bank and move it to another bank. Okay, so my debit card, that's going on 4 or 5 weeks now. Yeah, 5 weeks, I think. They still haven't fixed it. Oh, they fixed one thing. Yesterday, I pulled money out of an ATM. So it took 5 weeks for them to get my debit card to work at an ATM. I still don't. But when I spoke with the manager last week of the bank, they hadn't fixed my online purchase power with that, which I have a credit limit of 250,000 pesos a day for my equipment that I want to buy. So 4 weeks went by, and I've been in touch with her at least once a week for 4 weeks, sometimes twice or 3 times a week. They still haven't fixed that, and they still won't give me another debit card. They say, sir, we want to fix the problem. Well, they're never going to fix the problem. But that's how it is here. So they give you some bologna and cheese answer that they want to fix the problem, but they're not fixing the problem. But we don't want to give you another debit card because we want to fix your problem, but they don't fix your problem, and that's patience. But wait, I'm going to walk in there with that little bag I got, and I'm going to drain the account. I may leave in the minimum 10,000 peso required, but I probably won't, because other banks now only require 3,000 peso deposit. And I'll just burn that account altogether. I'll just walk in there and I'll get the pesos, put it in my bag, and go to my new bank, which, by the way, in another 10 or 12 days, I think I can get my debit card when I go to my bank. And we'll see if that debit card works. That's what I'm waiting for. Does the debit card work online? If it does, then I'll go get the money and move it there. If it don't, I'll start another bank account. This is 5 banks in the Philippines I've been through now because of this one bank, the one who has my money in it now. No. RCBC. I gave them this. You want to talk about criminals in the Philippines? We'll talk about criminals. When I had to bring my cargo containers back in 2016, I had 300,000 plus pesos in the bank. So I needed 225,000 pesos to pay the brokerage fee, and then 85,000 pesos to buy the container. And then I had 90,000 pesos on me to bring the containers to Bohol. So I needed to pull 280,000 pesos out of the bank at RCBC. And I gave them, this is where you're going to be screwed when you move to the Philippines if you don't understand the culture. Never show anybody your credit card, you idiot. Okay, so she asks me for 2 pieces of ID. I had my ACR card, my driver's license, and I pulled out my credit card, was in between those 2. I put it on the counter. She swooped them up like a professional card player. She went behind the wall. I could see her back going like this on a screen. Why she couldn't do it at the counter, I don't know. I got out. She gave me my 285,000 225 and 65 is 290,000 pesos. She gave me my 290,000 pesos and my credit card and my ACR and my driver's license back, and I went home. I went back to the hotel with Daisy. At that time we were together. I get back, I go online, your credit card has been shut off due to fraud. That girl in the bank, the bank teller for RCBC, took my credit card and either wrote the numbers down with the code on the back or photocopied it or something. And within 2 hours of me leaving that bank, $12,000 in charges were rung up in Asia, Japan, oddball countries, Russia, all of which were declined because they know I wasn't in Russia. But that's not the point. Even the bank tellers here are not beyond fraud. Something you wouldn't see in America. But here it happened. So I had to wait 6 weeks to get a new credit card. You think that's normal? In America, you go to the bank, you have credit card fraud, they issue you another card the same day. Here, it takes 6 weeks to get another credit card. And Lazada did it to me 3 weeks ago. They double charged me. So you have a $237 order. Do you confirm this order is correct? Yes, sir. Yes, I do. Okay, so your order has been placed. You're going to get an email confirming your order. Please confirm the email. I went to my email. It said, sir, Michael Fazio, you purchased an order for $237 to Lazada for 5 items. Do you confirm this order? Yes. 5 items, $237. 2 hours later, I got a message from my credit card company. Sir, Michael, you got double billed. Is this fraud? Yes. Card's off. Now I got to get in touch with the bank. And when the card went off, that my Skype connection was canceled because my card pays for my Skype bill, and it clicked in within a few days of my card being canceled. So I couldn't use Skype. Now, John Boone Bean sent me $5 in Skype credit last night. If you're here, thank you, John. I'm going to use that credit. Now, my normal email to my bank in America, my manager that week, she quit. Well, she retired. She was there, I know her 19 years. She retired. And her email was shut off. I sent the bank two requests for a different email. No one responded. So now I had to ask a friend of mine to call them up with their number and ask them to send me an email, but no one did. So when I get the Skype credit, I'm going to use that John Boone Bean to make a phone call to my bank tonight at 9 o'clock when they open, at 9 in America, so that another woman can send me an email, and then I can talk to her through email and get my credit card turned back on. Because the original fraud was worldwide. This fraud was just Lazada, and those charges end after 48 hours. If you don't pay them, they discard the order. But this is what it's like living here. Otherwise, I'd have to wait 6 weeks for a credit card and pay about $50 to have it sent to me. It's not normal. It's like living in the Twilight Zone, like EJ said. Not available, says Flywoods. Yeah, out of stock and unavailable. You're right. You're right about that. You're absolutely right. So I think I'm gonna end this live stream. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. But you guys, a word to the wise, man. Don't come to the Philippines thinking that it's going to be anything like America. It's not. Well, Europe. I don't know anything about Europe, but it's not going to be like that. These people don't speak your language, number one. Number two, they don't understand your language. Even if they speak some English, they have no idea what you're talking about. None whatsoever. And number three, I don't know I have a college regents diploma, but I had a full scholarship to go to college if I wanted to, and their high school diploma, that this was high school diploma, a college regents high school diploma. Their high school diploma here, first of all, I had 10, 11, and 12 periods a day. I was in school for 9 hours a day, 9, 10, 11 hours a day sometimes, with my extra classes that I took as voluntary. Here, they don't even carry a book. I had a stack of books like this. I'll give you the old war stories. 7 or 8 books. We had to take home. I would read them on the bus on the way home, do my homework, and read them on the way back so I know what the lesson was. They don't have any such thing here. You ask a person, now I know this business, what are you doing? I know they're going to the College Marine Naval Academy to learn how to be what they call an engineer. You get a college senior and ask him a simple question about anything marine. They don't know. When I graduated high school, I know how to read charts for aircraft. We had to learn how to read aircraft flight schedules as part of an extracurricular course I took. But they don't, even they graduate from the Marine Academy here, they have no idea how to read a chart. They don't understand what drift is or crabbing, C-R-A-B-B-I-N-G. They have no crabbing and drift for flight and for marine navigation are the same. They don't know. They don't teach them. I don't know what they teach them, but they go into the Marine Academy. And then I think then they have to go into a maritime job, like go on a ship. I don't know. I mean, to get a straight answer out of these kids, it's almost impossible. Because you're a foreigner, they don't want to talk to you, number one. They're paranoid a little bit if they don't know you, because these are just high school children. They're 16, 17, 18 years old, and you're asking them questions that they're embarrassed they don't know the answer to, so they'll just turn the other way. When I was in high school, I loved high school. I loved school. I loved the Academy of Aeronautics. I loved all my college classes that I took and all my extracurricular activity classes, my extended 12th, my 13th year. I loved it all. I like learning. These people here are not like that. They learn a job, and then even that job, like the bank manager, all she does when I go there is calls up the credit card department. Did you fix Michael Fazio's problem yet? No. No, sir, they didn't fix it yet. Well, you're not doing your job. You're the manager. I have a lot of money in your bank. I want to be able to use it. Yes, sir. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Get it through your head. You're not moving anywhere like what you think it is. So now, I should drink some water. By the way, I painted that tire. I had to paint it white, though. It killed me to paint it white. But I wanted to get it up on the roof, which is... I don't know that I'm going to go up on the roof. Give me a moment. I want to see something. All right. Yeah, I know that a lot of people, he didn't buy any more boxes. Yeah, I did. Oh, I also fixed my bicycle. I got my bicycle. It was sitting next to my stove. Here's another thing. You guys are coming from America, and you have no understanding of what it's like in America, in the Philippines. Let me tell you, nothing that you buy here Nothing that you buy here lasts for 3 years. I'm on my third stove in 7 years. Three stoves. And I'm ready to throw this thing out. Okay, I'll show you. And the microwave, just from normal wear and tear, the microwave. Wait a second. I need to put on a pair of shoes. If I can find them. What did I left them outside. Okay. I'll give you a perfect example of what you can expect buying goods in the Philippines, which really is not going to be a sterling review, because buying stuff in the Philippines is just a bad idea. If you're coming from America and you're going to buy and you're going to bring your stuff here and you need a cargo container, first of all, that's probably not going to happen anymore because it's cost prohibitive. The cargo containers have doubled. So for a 20-foot box with personal items, if you can get somebody to ship it, and that's a big if, they don't want to do personal items. It cost me altogether at the time when they raped me for my fees, they double charged me for stuff. I had ground, and I could tell you how to get one here, but you got to pay me big money for that. I'm not going to give you that information. It costed me several $1,000s in fines and penalties because I had no idea who to use and how dishonest these people were. That not in the Philippines per se, but how dishonest shippers are when you're shipping stuff from America to other countries. You're going to run across every thief and liar and low-class business person that you ever could possibly comprehend, and more, and more. And what happened was, what should have costed me $7,000, which is what I would have agreed to as a normal price, now with all the new laws and customs fees and import fees, will cost you somewhere in the area of I don't know. It could be as high as $15,000 or $18,000. It depends on who's shipping what to whom. Okay, why am I? Oh boy. Okay. All right, I made a mistake there. Oh boy. All right. I left everything outside last night. My work pants. All right, I'll have to wear my good shorts. Okay, I'm going to show you what happened with my microwave and my my stove in 3 years. It's junk. You buy this stuff and it's just junk. It's just junk. It's junk from day one. Hold on a minute. Okay, EJ boy, thank you. Kenny and Subic. Hello, Kenny. Kenny's girlfriend likes my show. I wonder if that's him or his girlfriend. Okay, so let me just show you what happened to a brand new microwave that never saw weather. It's not like it rained on my microwave or anything like that. But the quality of the steel that they use to build this stuff, it's garbage. It all comes from China. It's all garbage. Huh. There's another pile of my last pile of containers. I have a lot of them in cargo 2, cargo can 2, and that should do it. I have 10 more there. I think I have enough. I have 2 under here, This is just rags. I have 2 over there, and then I have 14 in the cargo can. Oh, you know what I should show you? Okay, let me show you. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what happened to my microwave just from moisture coming out of foods. This is 3 years old. This is 3 years old from being in the kitchen. That's rusted out. This rusted out here. The top, this rusted out, but that's not so bad. But look at where it blows the moisture out from where the food, when it cooks the food, it blows the moisture out of the side. The fan here, look what happened to the metal. This is 3 years old, by the way. This is 3 years old. I had a microwave in America that was 35 years old that I threw out before I came here. It was better than anything you could buy anywhere in the Philippines. Now the back is even worse. All rotted out here. Put your finger in there. Just put your finger right through there, yeah? Look at that, nice, yeah? And this is a Button Bay, whatever the hell, piece of shit. And but that, and look at the top, and then I don't. So now the reason this is out here is because one side is really heavy, and I was looking online. Oh, when I turned it on a couple of days ago, before I started painting to see if it still worked, I hadn't used it in a while. It just made a bunch of crackling noises. So there's 2 giant magnets apparently inside here, someplace in there. They're coming out, and then I need the magnets for something. Well, I use them to hold parts. Now this, I bought this the same day, almost. This was my stove, piece of shit. Okay, the whole thing rusted out. The frame rusted out. I had a screw here, but that rusted. I need to put another screw in there. It still works, but it doesn't get hot. Now this burner works, but it doesn't get real hot. But this burner gets really hot because I don't use it much. It's in the back. And let me tell you what the problem with this burner is. When you turn on this dial, there's an internal short. And then when you touch this, you get a 220 volt shock. Because somewhere in here, between this switch and here, there's an internal short. So if you put this on anything other than 0, which is there, if you put it on anything other than 0, well, then it'll cook really fast. The burner gets really hot, but you get a 220 volt through here, shock through here. This one doesn't give you a shock, but it doesn't cook so fast. And this is 3 years old, this crap. Okay, this isn't like 30 years old. It's just not fair that they sell this garbage here and you can't do much with it. You have to buy a new microwave every 3 years because the moisture that comes out of your food rotted the side of the microwave and shorted it out internally, and a new stove every 3 years because somehow the insulated wire was too close to the housing, and the insulation wire and the wire somehow. Where's my pants? The wire somehow touches the side of the housing. So now I will buy a new stove. Where are my pants? I know I had, there they are. No, I lost my pants. Huh. That's not them. Huh. Well, I'm gonna have to find my work pants. I'm not gonna use my new pants. All right, that's it. We're done. All right, we're done. Yeah, the sun is just about right for me to go into the back and fix that stove. until I decide to buy a new one. I don't really need a new one because I don't cook that much anymore. I don't eat food anymore. I'm on like day 74 of the carnivore diet, and I only eat meat, pork. I don't eat vegetables or carrots or anything like that. I'll show you my freezer. My freezer runneth over. I can't fit any more pork in there. These are all like daily sized chunks of pork, except for this one. This one is like 3 days supply, but all the rest of these are all single chunks. Right now there's 7 kilos from yesterday, and 17 kilos of pork in there. So I'm good. So, and all I eat is broiled pork. I don't fry the pork up anymore. I don't fry up vegetables. I don't fry up garlic and onions. I only eat raw pork. I mean pork, and that's it. I don't eat anything but pork. Oh yeah. You know what I wanted to show you? One more thing. Here. This is for the naysayers. Hey Kevin, let's see your blood work. You want to make fun of me? Let's see your blood work, Kevin. So here's my blood work. Hey Kevin, you keep making fun of me. I'm telling you, Kevin, I'm gonna start making fun of you. You think it's funny? I don't think it's funny. And you do it all over the internet. You and your snide remarks. Okay? I'm just warning you that if you continue with your snide remarks, making comments behind my back, so that you'll get brownie points from somebody like, whose show were you on? You were on the Slob show making fun of me. And I was only there 2 minutes, and I saw you mention my name 2 or 3 times. But there was somebody else. I don't appreciate it, Kevin. I don't like you either, by the way. I don't like you because you're stupid. Okay? In my opinion, you're a stupid man. Okay? You have no business making fun of somebody like me who's an actual go-getter in real life. You were a go-getter, but you're no longer a go-getter. Now you depend on the charity of others, which is okay, but you depend on the charity of others to make fun of people like me. On a scale of humanity from 1 to 100, I don't know what I am, but I know what you are, close to a 0. No important data is coming through your channel. Everything is blah, blah, blah. Everything was from what happened 10 or 15 years ago. I make stuff happen every day. You're not capable of doing that anymore. So don't make fun of me. And if you continue to make fun of me, I will just go to my other channel and I will blog from my other channel. And I'll go all in. I promise. I don't understand why you would want to make fun of me. Because the slob makes fun of me? Watch what happens when the slob comes to Bahal. And you just watch. You watch what happens when the slob, he keeps threatening to come to Bahal. Watch what happens to him when he gets there. We're going to make a video. Hey, Kevin, I'm not going to say it again. The next time I see you make fun of me, who I have no respect for anymore at all, and haven't had any respect for you for years, because you think you need people like Heminger on your channel to make fun of my ex-girlfriend Daisy May or other people's wives or girlfriends. You think that's funny. I don't. I don't appreciate people that spread false lies and rumors about other people. And you do that by letting those people on your channel because you need some sort of significance. You're a very, in my opinion, a useless human at this point. You have no real purpose to live. And that's my opinion, and I'm really serious about that. You want to make fun of me? I'm out there busting my butt every day doing something constructive outside, getting ready to build a hotel, buying equipment, fixing stuff, putting roofs on stuff. What have you done except run your mouth on YouTube? And you have a bunch of trolls on your channel. That's it. You've done nothing. You don't add to society or humanity in any way, shape, or form. That's the truth. You have no right to criticize me at all. In fact, you should be defending me that I actually am a real man and that I've done real man stuff because you know what it was like to be a real man, but still you can't relate to that anymore. So now you have become part of this stupid, worthless YouTube community to make fun of people like myself and to praise people like the slob that picks up a different streetwalker every day. You think that's nice? Kevin, last time I'm going to warn you. Next time I see you make even one snide remark about me, I'm going all in on you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, you're not going to like it. It'll be worse than anything anybody's ever done before because it'll be the truth. Stop making snide remarks behind my back so that somebody will send you super chat because they think you're funny. It's not funny. I don't find it funny at all. You understand what I'm saying to you, Kevin? I hope so, because the next time I see it, I'm telling you, I'll go back to my Hoodwink channel and I'll just go for the gold ring, Kevin. I'll go for the gold ring. You people that need somebody like the Slob and Richie Buong and Heminger, and now there's another guy who I forgot his name, Go-Go Bobo, that you think you need those people to build up your self-esteem. You're a loser, Kevin. In my opinion, you're a loser. You should be just the opposite. You should throw these people. I told you years ago to not let people talk about Daisy May, and you couldn't get it through your head why I went all in on you then. And you're doing it again. And you're even a bigger loser now than you'll ever have been before. You're even a bigger loser now. Because now, since those last few years, since you've been off YouTube, you come back with more trolls on your account so that people will send you money to make humor out of stuff that's not funny. Talk about something that's real. Talk about the slob and his potential illnesses that he may or may not get from picking up $90 women a night. Talk about Go-Go Bobo's sister. Let's talk about where Go-Go Bobo's sister lives. In fact, I know exactly where Go-Go Bobo's sister lives. He's another one that wants to criticize me. I know exactly where you live, the house and everything. What, you don't think so? If I ever go back to America and I go back to farm country, I'll just stop in and say hello to you. Or I won't say hello to you and I'll just stop by. You don't understand that I don't really appreciate people talking shit behind my back at all. Not one bit. Now, you think it's funny because you think that no one knows where you live, but I know where you live. It doesn't matter who else knows. And I won't post where you live publicly. I'm not going to dox you. But you think that's funny. And Heminger, God forbid anybody ever found out who Heminger was. Oh, my God. There's a lot of people that don't like him, seriously don't like him. And it's not funny posting stuff that's not true. It's just not funny. You posted stuff that wasn't true about many people, Kevin. You think it's funny. It's not funny. In my mind, now that I see your twisted sense of humor, I can understand why somebody did to you what they did. Unfortunate as it might be, you don't have a clear understanding of humanity. And you probably did something inhumane to somebody on a level that they just didn't want to deal with. And you know that's true. You know that's true. But if you continue to knock me behind the scenes on different people's channels, I might just discuss some of those things. By the way, how are you? How's your health, Kevin? Can you walk? I just walked 8 or 9 kilometers yesterday with packages. Can you do that? No. When was the last time you took a walk more than a few hundred feet, Kev? You haven't done that in years now, right? When was the last time you saw your feet? Oh, we can't have that now. What happened to that diet that you were on? Oh, blew that one away. That's just the beginning. You have nothing on your side to go against me as a real man. That's for sure. You have nothing. You haven't accomplished anything that contributes to society in years. Now you're living off of the government payroll, perhaps, and you're living off the donations of people that feel sorry for you. You're as twisted as most of the other people on YouTube, Kevin. You're as twisted as they are. So whatever happened to that diet that you were on, Kevin, that you had to lose the weight? It wasn't an option. You never did that. So you really don't care about your health at all. You didn't even try to make yourself better. And you talk about me. At least I do something every day. Every day I'm going to go out there and work for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. This afternoon I had a good morning live streaming. You have done nothing to benefit society at all. So here is my real blood results. I don't know what you could read. The doctor went over this yesterday. Here's the printout. Let me put my glasses on. And the only thing he was concerned about was my uric acid. And I told him that I was on the carnivore diet for yesterday, I think day 73. And he said that's the reason for that. There's no problem. So everything is here. I'll just show you the section. Here's my name, the hospital. The ones that are darker, like 1.48, the top one, and the third one down, those are out of the suggested range, but not out of range. There are in different countries or different venues on the internet, those things are within range. Here's my other blood work. I don't know what that PBC count is. Is this upside down? No, it's right side up. Okay. And so those except for what, two of those, and those are only like 1/10 of 1 percentage point out of bounds. Like that 333, if you go over to this side here, it should really be 332, I think it is. 332. So it's 1/10 of 1 percentage point. Let's see yours, Kevin. Let's see how you're doing with your diet and your and then here is my ketones are high. They're supposed to be high because I'm on the carnivore diet. And then everything else is normal. Everything. My blood is normal. My diabetes is non-existent. My count for diabetes is 129, and you don't have diabetes until you get to 160, and 129 is what it should be, period, for anybody, in any age, in any health. 129. I don't know which one that was. I think it was in the beginning. Yeah, the cholesterol is the lipid profile, 129.04, right there. Lipid where is it? Right there. Lipid profile, 129.04, cholesterol. Okay? So I don't have diabetes. To the people out there that keep saying I'm in bad shape or I have blood disorder or something like that, I don't have anything that anybody's ever said on here. I do have an infection on my leg, and it is becoming a long-term infection. But then again, 75% of it is healed up since January, so it's looking good. And I'm on a new medication called Lox Flux Cilia, which is good. And it's actually in 1 week, it's healed up more than the last 3 weeks together combined. So, but you guys out there that are making fun of me, you do it for a couple of reasons. You do it, first of all, you think it's funny. In real life, you have really no understanding of reality, or at least the reality that I came from. You wouldn't do this in real life. You wouldn't do it even today in real life to me. You wouldn't do it. All the people I meet all day long in the mall that all know me, whether they like me or not, they say hello or don't say hello. But nobody comes up to me with those snide remarks. They're not going to. It ain't going to happen. Yeah, but you could do nothing. You could do nothing. That's how much I care about what you could do. And I don't really care what you're capable of, or you think you're capable of. It doesn't even cross my mind when I make a decision, the decision. It doesn't cross my mind that you might be able to do this or that. It's not part of my makeup. But Kevin, every channel for the last 2 weeks since you're back, every time I see you, you got to make. Kevin, I'm telling you, you could believe it or not. You're not the man you used to be. You're not even a real man anymore. You're some strange fat man on YouTube that has lost his mind, thinking it's okay to make fun of other people that I have not mentioned you in 2 years, and you think it's okay to make fun of me. It's because other people make fun of me. You should be defending me, but no, you're too stupid to understand that. You're too stupid to understand that you yourself haven't contributed anything to society, except you bought a few pieces of camera equipment. You live in your aunt's house. You can't walk a mile. You can't swim. You can't go to the park because you're out of breath. The biggest blog that you had was going to a buffet in the last 2 years. That's it. Other than that, you haven't blogged a town or a building or where you live or nothing. You haven't contributed a damn thing to YouTube other than blah, blah, blah. In 2 years, I've never mentioned your name until today. But I'm mentioning it now. I will just go back to my normal self, and I will go all over it with you. Promise. Go ahead, keep it up. Keep it up. So one more comment I see from you about me and the snide remark crap. I'm going for the gold ring. All right, then I don't really want to do that, but you forced me to do it. Nobody forced you to talk crap about me behind my back. Nobody. Nobody forces you to laugh at other people's comments that are about me, especially some piece of garbage like the Richie guy who's afraid to show his face and will never show his face because he knows he has some serious issues that are going to face him if anybody ever finds out where he lives and what he looks like. Not me, because I don't live in whatever country he lives in. But he won't do it. He won't do it because he's a coward that hides behind a computer screen. The slob is just stupid. And the slob is just stupid. We'll leave it at that. No, my food won't go bad if I have a long blackout, Kenny. That freezer is at 20 degrees below zero, and inside, underneath that meat is an 8 liter bottle of frozen water. That freezer, if I don't open it, would stay frozen for at least a week. No problem. And the other guy who wants proof that it's only 3 years old, I'll show you the proof right now. First of all, you can go to my Hoodwinked by an Angel channel. You can go to my Hoodwinked by an Angel channel, and you could go look up something that probably says microwave on it. But in the meantime, I have more proof, because I don't need your bullshit on my channel. I'm just going to block you. It's just that simple. Tony the dog, I've never liked you or the comments that you've made on other people's pages, so I'm just going to shit can you. And if I say something, it's true. That's the fact. Now, you could go look up microwave and see it's about 3.5 years old. It's not 20 years old. So I'm shit canning you now. Go start another name, another channel. Because if you question whether or not I'm telling you the truth, I don't want you on my channel. No one has ever caught me in a lie on my channel. No one. So let's get rid of you. Right now you got that. Adios. And don't come back with your fake troll account saying that, oh, he hides everybody that disagrees with him. No, you just called me a liar. You just called me a liar. I don't need that. No, I've never been proven to be a liar on my channel. Ever. About anything. All right, so it's not 3 years old. Could be 3.5 years old, but I bought it when Daisy was still here. When we built this house in 2017. So it's 3.5 years old. But it was well after I built the house. I built the house in 2017, and I bought the refrigerator and the microwave and the stove all at the same time. So it's 3.5 years old. Just get off my... Don't come on my channel and question what I say is to be the truth or not. It's not going to happen. I'm not Big Kevin. I don't need your view count. I don't need you on my channel. And I certainly don't need to be questioned as to whether or not I'm telling the truth. If I say it, if it comes out of my lips, it's probably true. Unless I want to deceive you. And I very rarely do I need to do that. So, Tony the big dog, whatever your name is. Adios, moron. And again, Kenny, that freezer is... I have it set at 20 below, the freezer. I have a thermometer that says it's 20 below. And then the water in there is also 20 below. So I have cardboard on the top of the refrigerator, 2 inches of cardboard, well, 1 inch now, which would protect it from the heat. And I don't think we'll ever have a blackout for a week. And if we do, just go buy a generator. What's the big deal? 60,000 pesos. I could buy a, not a very big generator, but you could buy a generator for 20,000 pesos that would just run the refrigerator. You don't have to keep it running all the time. All right then, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Big Kevin, remember what I said. The next time I see you commenting crap behind my back, I'm going to go back over to the Hoodwink channel, and I'm going to do what I do best. Well, not what I do best, but what I do well. What I do best, that's something else altogether. All right, then, Umping Permi, which means take care always, from Michael Fazio in the Philippines, baby. And remember, I'm the most congenial person you'll ever meet in your life. Ask me, I'll tell you. I come with my own references. And God day to everybody, from Michael Fazio in the Philippines, baby. Umping Permi, which means take care always, baby. Bye-bye for now.